them, you pay them, you hope they're there when you face a catastrophe, though now you're at their mercy as premiums rise. The cost of property insurance is at crisis levels right now for too many homeowners who wonder if they will be able to stay in their homes. Will the new reforms and more sustainable market for insurers mean actual help for homeowners? Lisa Miller is a former state deputy insurance commissioner, now an industry advocate deep in the weeds with the details of Florida's complicated and changing insurance market and laws. Lisa, it's great to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
So we were talking, were you able to hear our conversation in the last blocks?
I was two of my heroes,
Oh,
Hillary
okay.
Campbell and Jeff Brandis. Great selections.
You know,
Great.
they said the same about you.
Uh,
So I want to ask you kind of something I asked them when we talked earlier. Farmers was the headline this week, and then in the last couple of days, AAA is now not going to renew a very small number of their most expensive and high-risk properties. And I want to hear from you, from the industry, what does high risk mean to the industry?
that's a great question. You know, there's several layers of risk. The first one, when high risk, you think of homes. Well, I live in Tallahassee. You live in Miami. So a $300,000 home in Tallahassee is a $600,000 home in Miami. You know, insurance
Or more.
companies or more. Insurance companies have, you know, values of homes that they may cap. Like we won't insure 600,000 or above, or seven. You know, Citizens won't insure 700,000 or above. Those are considered high value homes. Sometimes a high risk home is an older home that has old, outdated wiring or outdated plumbing, which, you know, is a claim waiting to happen. And of course, a high risk home can be a bad roof. I have an 11-year-old roof. In Florida, there's no such thing as a 30-year shingle. So I replaced my roof with a metal roof at my own expense. I had to take out a small, you know, a loan, if you will, to try to pay that $35,000. And but it made my insurance rates go down, and I'll recoup that cost pretty, you know, over the next few years. So high risk, depending on the insurance company, means what is it that the insurance company sees as, if I may say so, a claim waiting to happen.
And is
You know,
that something that, as a homeowner, I want you to teach my homeowners here, is
mhm.
that something that's negotiable, that's provable? A 1930s home on the ocean in Miami may be very much stronger than a 1990s home in mid-state built under different building codes. Was that something that is very individualized or a big broad brush by companies?
I often say that the homes built in the old days, the 30s and 40s, are like fortresses. But I'm not a construction expert, and only those homeowners know the strength of their home. Every homeowner listening to this great show, they know, gosh, if that storm comes, my roof's going to blow off, or my windows are those old beautiful jalousie windows and they're not going to make it, or my pool cage or whatever I've added to that beautiful 1930 home is going to be blown away. I think what I want your viewers to know is this: owning a home is your personal responsibility. You know the vulnerabilities, and it's not about keeping the paint up and putting in granite countertops. It's the structural integrity of your home. And take the responsibility to do that. And you know how you can find out how strong your home is? We have the My Safe Florida Home program. Thousands of free inspections, and Glenna will put on her website how to access that program. It's a free inspection, and it gives you like a 12-page report, and it says, here's what's going on with your roof. Here's
You know,
what's going on with your window.
I'm really glad that you brought that up, because in the news, the nature of the news is we talk a lot about what's challenging and what needs to change, and not enough about what is. And that free inspection program is actually a very valuable tool, and we actually will absolutely do that. Let me ask you this. The laws and the new reforms put in place are meant to right the market. I mean, I've heard my friends in the legislature say that was the goal, was to right the market. The critics of it in opposition, and largely the Democrats in the State House, will call it a $3 billion bailout for the industry. Is it your expectation that there really will be a trickle-down effect where homeowners will absolutely see some kind of available, affordable insurance that they do not have now?
there's three things they can do that they do not have, that they can make a difference now and in the next 18 months. Number one, have the expectation that these reforms are going to work. I would tell you, I mean, I would say if I thought differently, but when, there's three legs to this stool. The weather causes your premiums to rise. We can do nothing about it. Litigation those crazy billboard lawyers, all the stuff you read about makes rates go up. And the cost of reinsurance. And you heard both Jeff Brandis and Hillary Cassell talk about that, and not enough was done in that regard. Those three things make rates go up. The litigation piece will work. How much will it bring rates down? Maybe 30%, maybe 40% in the next 18 to 24 months, because that's probably the portion of every dollar you pay in premium is for some of that outrageous litigation.
So I am not in a position to defend or support anyone, but I will say, crazy billboard lawyers that there may be, there are many, many lawyers who do very effective things for their clients, and we do not want to dismiss the fact that legal representation against insurance companies in many cases, worthy cases, certainly is very important. No?
You know what? Do we always have to go to court? Sure, there's going to be disputes and claims. Certainly tell your insurance company you don't agree with them. But I don't believe the first line of defense is to call a lawyer. We have a free mediation program in Florida. We have an appraisal process if your policy allows that. We have arbitration. I guess it just troubles me, and it should you and your viewers, that the first person you call when you have a dispute with your insurance company is a lawyer. Do you do that when your car doesn't get fixed at the repair shop? Do you do that when you get your hair colored and it turns green and it should be black?
I guess there may certainly be people who do exactly that. I want to ask you, in the couple of minutes that we have left together, I want to ask you a big, broad question from your very worthy perspective. Do you have expectations that Florida will be an affordable place to live in perpetuity? Because of storms, and we have a weather expert coming up and we'll talk all about that, because of storms, because of all of the reasons of high-risk insurance that affects the real estate market, do you see Florida as being affordable in the next 10, 20, 30 years?
If we do the things we need to do as a legislature, create the strategy that Jeff Brandis says, focus on affordable housing, focus on how we can get these insurance rates in line. If we just do nothing or a little bit every year, I don't see us being the long, viable, sustainable state that we have been in the past. I'm an optimist. You're an optimist. We can only hope for the best. So for your viewers' standpoint, take personal responsibility of your house. If you look at what's can make it stronger, be sure to look at alternative disputes versus just calling a lawyer if there's something going on with claim. And lastly, know what your coverage is. Check in with your insurance agent. Know every line on your insurance policy so that you know what you have when the time comes, Glenna.
Homework from Lisa Miller, insurance industry expert and a valuable go-to person on this very complicated issue. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so much.